Well, I've been thinking about doing a walk-around video on our 1991 YJ. We've had this for a little while now. We've been bolting some goodies onto it here and there, and we've been beating it up in the bush. For the most part, it's been a pretty reliable Jeep, and that's probably due to the fact that it's only got a 4-banger in it, and it's pretty hard to get into trouble. That said, here's a quick little video just to walk around some of the stuff we've done. All right, let's get to it. For the gist here, it's a 4-inch lift. We got 33s on it. The 33s came actually off of a CJ, so the bolt pattern on there is a little bit different. So I had to buy 2-inch spacers on it, which converts from the YJ to the CJ bolt pattern. Gave me a little bit wider of a stance, which personally I like. Worked a little bit better off-road as well, probably. That did make us have to put on some wider fender flares to keep the mud off the side and keep the police on the road a little bit happier. We've put a couple aftermarket bumpers on it. We do have a Smittybilt 9600 winch on it. We've got some LED lights slapped all over the place. The lift is a rough country 4-inch. We have the stock axles. We don't have lockers. We do have the Pitman arm drop, which helps obviously in steering. We also have the tranny drop, which helps a little bit. I do not have a slip yoke eliminator. The offset rims made us have to go out and get some wider fender flares. So we got the Bushwacker 6-inch flat style in plastic. In hindsight, I kind of wish I got the metal ones. They were a little bit more money. Didn't want to put it into this at the time. But as you'll see on the other side, I should have went metal. We have a cheap cargo basket just literally drilled through the roof, mounted right in there. I've got some bars on the inside to support the weight should we put something heavy on there. I'll show you that in a little bit here. But the one side we have the shovel, the other side we have an axe up here. We do throw a couple things on with some bungees. It's just really nice to have it. And all the wiring is on the quick disconnect of the back. So when we disconnect the roof, everything stays intact. And as I mentioned on the other side, here's our little whoops that we had slid into a tree. And this is the difference maybe of having metal versus plastic fender flares. For the front bumper, we just have an offshore sort of style. Not very good quality, but I really like the look. It wasn't very thick, so when I wanted to actually put on the winch, I went and got a 1/4-inch plate, put the plate between the winch and the bumper, and then the one round tube that goes across in the frames, I've actually got the bolts for the winch going straight through the frame. So we're golden there. We got the farm jack mounted on the hood. I was gonna put it on the rear, but then I kept thinking, you get stuck, the back end's in the mud and all that kind of stuff. The hood is always easy to get, and if it's not, this jack's not gonna help in that situation anyway. Got the 50-inch light bar like so many other off-roaders and Jeepers have. It's got on the bracket that comes down, and it's got the lower window lights. We've got those ones actually 45 degrees out, and with the top one and then those ones on, it actually covers quite a bit. But what I did is I took one of those bumper mount, flush mount LEDs, and I cut a hole in the side of the Jeep and I flush mounted them in the side. This actually worked out really well. Quick flick and everything beside you is 100% lit up. So with this one and the other two above it, and then the other side, we've got a lot of light. You toss in this little guy on the top on both sides, and we're looking at 360-degree visibility at pitch black. So it's not expensive stuff, but it's not an expensive Jeep. And at the end of the day, works fantastic. For the rear bumper, we have another offshore brand, so just a cheap knockoff, but it is a tire carrier. It mounted pretty simple, and it holds the 33 up there pretty solid. It's got the D-rings on it. It also has the 2-inch trailer hitch should we want to hook something up and drag it behind us. Pretty simple operation. Just push in, turn 90 degrees, and then this pulls out. Easy to do with one hand. And it doesn't sag, does everything it's supposed to do. Quick access to the back, but unfortunately I've had to use that tire already, so it's always good to have a full-size spare. For my CB whip, I just took the standard little mount that's already on there that holds your tire stop, and I welded a little flat plate on it, drilled a hole through it, mounted my Firestick on there, and it's been working great for over a year. Having a quick peek inside, not too much to see here, but we do have the Poison Spider grab handles, and not a lot of money, but I got to tell you, these are actually used all the time, especially if you're in the passenger seat. It's one of those things you find yourself, your hand is always on it. The two bars you can see in the top are basically the tubing I put on that's going to hold the weight for the roof rack. So they're permanently mounted on the roof rack. When the roof comes off, these stay affixed to the roof rack and everything goes off in one piece. But when it comes back, they lay on the front of the roll bar, and they also lay at the top of the roll bar right there. The goal is, if a lot of weight comes on there, it's not really pushing on the fiberglass, it's pushing on the roll bar. And to this day, it's working pretty well. I do have a 3D printer, and I was looking for a way to hold all the switches for all the lighting that I got on this Jeep. So, you know, right beside my CB, you can see that I got a little box there, and I just designed up a 6 switch panel, printed it on my 3D printer, put the little Jeep logo on it, and it's been working great. Good and solid, tucked in out of the way, and happy times. In the summer months, we do pretty much keep the roof off the entire time. We've got a bimini top should the rain start pouring down on us. I don't have half doors, but we seem to drive around all the time with the doors off, roof off, and pretty much letting the Jeep be free as a bird. Here you can see my 14-year-old son taking it through a little bit of a trail, which he's usually the designated driver. And also, here's a quick look at my lights. So this is just headlights only, and then a quick flick will show you the side lights and the front lights. Substantial change. I did a drone video as well. Unfortunately, this didn't turn out as well as I wanted, but it gives you the idea that when all the lights start flicking on, 360-degree visibility. From the cab inside the Jeep, it's phenomenal. But at the end of the day, that's it. That's all. I really appreciate you guys taking a look at the walk around, and happy trails.